It was a typical day at the airport, with people rushing around, each lost in their own world. Henry stood at the gate, preparing for his flight to a crucial meeting that could change his life. He was tense, impatient. He had worked his entire career for this moment, and nothing could go wrong. When the flight attendant approached him with a smile, he barely noticed. But then, she handed him his boarding pass and told him, "Welcome aboard, sir." Henry looked at her, his face scrunching in confusion. She wasn't in a uniform like the others. "What's that?" he asked, pointing to the pilot's wings pinned to her jacket. "Aren't those supposed to be worn by the pilot, not flight attendants?" She smiled softly. "You're right, sir, but I'm not a flight attendant. I'm Captain Sarah Mitchell, and I'll be flying you to your destination today." He laughed nervously. "Oh, come on. Stop joking around. Where's the real pilot?" "I am the real pilot," she said, her voice calm but firm. "If you don't mind, we have other passengers boarding." Henry's smile faded. His thoughts raced. He wanted to ask, to protest, but instead, he stood there, staring. A woman pilot? This is ridiculous. I thought the world had standards. How are you even allowed to fly this plane? She didn't flinch. "I'm more than qualified, sir." Henry chuckled, shaking his head. "Yeah, sure. A woman flying a plane. What's next? A woman in space? This is just some publicity stunt to make the airline look good. What's it gonna be next? Safety's compromised for political correctness." She took a deep breath, her hands steady on the controls as she prepared for takeoff. But Henry didn't stop. "I'm telling you, this is bad. You're probably up there doing your makeup or fixing your hair while we're all here, trusting you with our lives." "Actually," she responded, her eyes still focused on the controls, "there's a storm ahead. We need to change our route. The captain and the tower are making adjustments. But don't worry, I'll get us there safely. I've done it before." Henry didn't hear her. He was still thinking about his meeting. It was the kind of meeting that could change everything for him. "I have to get to Orlando," he said, his voice shaky. "This could make or break my career. I can't afford to be late. What if you don't know the way?" "I know the way," she said. "I've flown longer and farther than you can imagine." But Henry wasn't listening. "Seriously, do you even know what you're doing? You're just here because of some kind of diversity hire. How could anyone think you're capable of flying this plane?" "I'm here because I earned my place," she said quietly. He turned to face her. "Listen, I've been flying with this airline for years. I've never seen anything like this. I demand a new pilot, someone who actually knows what they're doing." She didn't respond at first. Then she turned to him, her voice low, almost breaking. "I've been told my whole life that I couldn't do this, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't strong enough, just because I'm a woman. But I kept going. I didn't give up." Henry scoffed. But she wasn't done. "I was told I couldn't join the Air Force. I was told I wasn't capable. I went through flight school alone, with no one to help me, no one to guide me, only my dreams of flying. I fought for this. For every mission, for every challenge, I fought through it. I've flown over battlefields, through storms, through dangers you can't even imagine." Henry looked away. "So what? You think you're special because of all that?" Her voice cracked slightly as she continued. "I've been awarded for my bravery, my skill, and I've flown countless flights. I've saved lives. But none of that matters to you, does it? Because all you see is my gender." The silence between them stretched, heavy and thick. Henry swallowed hard, his face flushing. "I don't want to die in the sky because of some mistake." Sarah's eyes softened, and her lips tightened into a thin line. "Do you know what it feels like to always prove yourself? To be doubted, to be told you don't belong? I fought through every moment of that." Henry didn't say anything. He stared out the window, lost in his thoughts. Then, as the plane took off and they climbed higher into the sky, Sarah looked at him once more. "You may not believe in me now, but I'll get you there. I've flown through worse." He didn't answer, but something in his chest started to ache, a weight settling on him. They were both in the sky now, trapped in a way neither could escape. Finally, the intercom crackled, and Sarah's voice came through, calm and steady. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're on course now. We'll be making up time in the air." Henry looked around. For the first time, He noticed the other passengers. Many of them had glanced up, not with the same concern he'd felt earlier, but with trust. He felt a strange twist inside his chest, a feeling of guilt he hadn't expected. Later, as they approached their destination, Sarah spoke again, her voice quiet but unwavering. "Mr. Wilson, I know you have your doubts about me, but I'll get you there safely." He didn't respond. He had nothing left to say. After the plane landed, the doors opened. As Henry gathered his things, a young girl who had been seated nearby approached Sarah. "Excuse me," the girl said shyly, her eyes wide. "Do you think I could be a pilot one day? If you can do it, maybe I can too." Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as she smiled down at the girl. "If you want to, you can." The girl smiled back, and for a moment, Sarah didn't feel alone anymore. Henry stood by the door, watching the exchange. He felt small, insignificant, as if the weight of his words had become a burden he couldn't shake off. He had been wrong. So wrong. And in that moment, he realized the world had changed in front of him, and he hadn't been ready for it. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts below, and hit subscribe to join our channel for more powerful tales like this. Your support helps us create more content you'll love, so don't miss out.